The first time I met Chad Kimball, I will never forget it. It was in 2004. We were in California. We were in the Bay Area. We were in Palo Alto.
Theater Works in Palo Alto, sitting down for our table read of Memphis. And in walked this gregarious young man, full of vigor and vim.
When the Memphis cast walked in and I saw him and I was like, huh, that's the guy that's gonna play Huey. This is gonna be interesting. And then the boy opened his mouth and I was like, oh, we're gonna be fine.
Ah, that's sweet.
We're gonna be just fine.
Doing the show for 6 years with him was pretty awesome because he challenges you to not only be an intense and grand performer, but also a grand and kind person.
Chad and I lost, you know, when you're actors, you say, hey, I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna call you. And you guys keep doing that. That's how you contact each other. Like, you guys don't say anything, but you guys keep contacting. But the relationship that Chad and I built, we were such good friends and we were such brothers that when we do see each other, it's like nothing ever changed.
I am super excited to be here and talk with James. Actually have a nice little sit down. We were gonna go for coffee, but you know what? We're gonna do this instead. How you been?
Actually, I've been fabulous, man. How you been?
I've been great. It's a little busy right now with all the Tony Award nominations.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Is this your second or third Tony-nominated show you've been in on Broadway?
It's the third.
That's
the first
right.
one was Into the Woods,
Yes.
when I played the cow.
I know.
And the second one was Memphis, which we were in.
Of course.
And I remember how exciting that was. And then so this is the third.
Can we go back for a second? You might be, and tell me if I'm wrong, the only cow in the history of the wonderful legacy of Sondheim's Into the Woods that was actually given a fantastic review.
Yeah, it got a lot of great attention. I think that some of the critics were kind of confounded by it. I still tell the stories about the cow to this day. Like, one of my favorite stories is when he sings, I guess it says, goodbye, old pal, you've been a perfect friend. And I'd go over and I'd put my paw up on his knee. And then he runs off. See you soon again. I hope when I do, it won't be down plate. And he runs off, and then I follow him, and then reach out with my hoof, and then collapse. And then boom, 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 and cover my eyes. James Lapine, I think he wanted to like cut that, but it was just so funny. I'm glad he went with it.
Well, the fun thing is, I remember in Memphis, Chris Ashley wanted to actually cut the, no. Like, Joe had written it, and Chris was like, I don't like that at all. It's not funny. And Joe said, look, just let James do it. And if the audience likes it, we'll keep it. And Chris was like, you know what? He can do it once, and then we're cutting it. And the audience liked it. And
of course they liked
it. They came back to me and he was like, it can stay.
I
don't think Chris ever liked it. Like, I think he was fine because the audience liked it, but I don't think he ever liked it.
You know, I think he picks one thing in one show that he doesn't like that other people like to keep. Because in our show, it was the cardiologists. There's a moment where we come on stage as cardiologists in Annette's, romantic dreams.
Right.
And the audience just wanted to applaud.
Because it's hysterical.
They just, all of us, like, with the...
Yeah, with the looks and the cool and sexiness.
And Joel Hatch, with, just a little tuft of hair. We're really sexy, but the audience wants to applaud there, and Chris tried to get rid of it. I love you, Chris. He tried to get rid of it, and he's like, okay, fine.
We love you, Chris. I think what it is that Christopher Ashley is a very, as you know, extremely intelligent director.
Yes,
and very patient. He doesn't mind comedy, but he's like, he's. I don't think he's one, which is funny to say for the man, who directed Xanadu. He's not big on silliness.
No, he's not.
But when the silliness comes in, he goes, it works, fine, leave it alone.
Fine, exactly. It's like, if I must,
have to, fine.
Well, and you and I are good cases of trying to make those little comedic moments work without being a little too
No, we would
silly.
never do that.
Will this work, Chris?
And he's like, fine. So tell me about this journey with Come From Away. I mean, not only are you guys portraying real people, but these people who went through this crazy journey, but this show itself went through an amazing journey. I mean, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we started in La Jolla, at La Jolla Playhouse, where Memphis started.
Yes.
And so it was kind of, back to basics there, but, it was, I think it's the 10th anniversary of Chris's being artistic director there. So that was cool.
Because he started right when we started.
Yeah,
with
that's right. Wait, is that 10 years or 8 years? I can't remember.
It's 10
years.
Yes.
Anyway, so we we started there, and I think most of us, the show was nothing really. I mean, there was no blocking, we went into the rehearsal room and there was like a wall full of props. And we're like, we're going to use a telephone booth on wheels and stuff. And we're like, are we going to use all of that? And so we ended up, not using a lot of that stuff. But to be able to create that world with 12 actors and people that you really don't know. I mean, I hadn't worked with anybody except for Jen a little bit. And I knew Kendra and Rodney, worked with them in readings and stuff. But everybody else, we were strangers to each other. So to be able to dive in and kind of create this world of you have people who come from away and townspeople and the hilarity that ensues when you throw 7,000 strangers into a town of, something's going to happen, you know what I mean? So it was incredible to be able to really do what every artist wants to do, which is to just jump in and do whatever, but within a certain concept. And so, but also incredibly honored and blessed to be able to tell that story.
Did you get to meet the person you're playing?
Yeah, several times.
Okay.
He came to the opening there. He came to the opening in Seattle, DC, and so we've known these people along the way, and they're great people, and it's so great to hear their. Chris gave us carte blanche with the characters, really within the given circumstances. You don't have to imitate these people, and so we were able to create our own stuff. But it certainly was fantastic to really get their own insight into what happened to them that day. So it's been outstanding.
Because this is not, I wouldn't say second, but I mean this is because the people you're playing are real people, and you played a homage to a real person in Memphis, whereas I didn't get to meet the person or their family. I have to read about the person who I'm playing.
Right.
These gargantuan guys, but it's fine.
Do you feel like there's more freedom in that though? Do you feel like because there's only historical perspective that you can kind of paint with more colors?
I think so. I think because we are telling the story of what they went through, not the people.
Right.
Whereas Hamilton himself, we are telling the story of Hamilton.
Right.
But as far as Thomas Jefferson is concerned, we're not telling his history, we're telling his point of view towards Alexander Hamilton. So I can bring my own style, my own swagger to that role.
Yes, you can.
And also when you're stepping into a role, which is something I haven't done in a long time. My first time I did it was Spelling Bee when I stepped in for Derek. Stepping into this after David Diggs, he and I are such different physical types and such different people. We're great friends, but we're different people. He gave me his blessing. He said, look, man, go ahead and do it your own way.
That's
and
great.
Then so did Tommy Kail said, go ahead, do it your own way. So I was able to
well, I'm
bring
sure
my own
that's
thing to it.
also why they asked you to do it, because you bring so much of yourself to whatever you do. So
Thank you.
Why not have you?
Well, the fun part is, I won't lie, I kind of learned that watching you. No, I'm not joking.
That's sweet.
When we were in Palo Alto, I had been doing shows before, but there was a fearlessness to how you played Huey Calhoun. You would just do things and try things, and I would be like, Jesus Christ, he's really going for it. And so watching you do that, playing Bobby, I was like, well, it's okay for me to go for it because Chad's doing it. If they're not going to stop Chad, then they're not going to say anything to me. And I've kind of kept that going with me.
I think I might have said something like that about you, though, in the little interview we did before. Thank you.
No problem,
you meet a character sometimes, like Huey Calhoun, and he just made sense to me, and the words that made sense were, he's kind of a little bit crazy, he's loud, he's boisterous, he's out there, he's bendy, and all of it just kind of made sense. It's like when you make a meal and you're just like, put this in there, and it tastes great.
That's exactly how I felt about Genie.
Yeah.
I saw Genie as a kid, but when they just described him, like if you take Robin Williams out of it and just describe Genie as being this boisterous showman who just likes to just break out in a song and be silly at any moment, but there's a heart to him that he really does care about what's going on, but he really just enjoys just doing things, anything to make you smile, anything to make you laugh, but there's a deep friend in him. I was like, okay, I know that guy. That guy I know, and that guy I can play.
Yeah.
Because
Well, you've got that guy inside you.
Thank you. And I like doing that kind of stuff in the grocery store.
Yes.
So to get paid and do it, is
exactly.
awesome. But I will say, I do enjoy. Don't get me wrong. I love Jeannie, and Jeannie would be with me for the rest of my life. But I do enjoy not having to wear so much glitter.
I think you're lying. I think you go home and put on that glitter. Tell me about. Just watching the Tonys, the Tony Awards. I mean, I know what I felt when I was kind of in the audience, being nominated. Tell me about winning that Tony Award. When they said your name, like, I was watching, and I'm getting chills right now. Like, I often say to people, before you answer, I often say to people that, just being nominated is, I was like, I'm great.
That is true. Good. It's honest to God true.
But when you won, I want to know what it felt like. I mean,
it was the weirdest feeling because I just assumed that I wouldn't win. Mm-hmm. And I assumed I wouldn't win for one big reason. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. Disney's a fantastic company, and Disney's a wonderful company when it comes to putting Broadway shows together. And this city likes to dump on Disney. And so I just assumed that with the exception of The Lion King, that they were not going to, give us anything. So I was like, we got nominated, cool, we showed up, great, we know we have a great show, beautiful, all right, let's go. Mm-hmm. And when I won, I was like, oh snap, I won, I didn't write a speech.
You didn't write a speech?
No, my wife told Dawn to write a speech. I was like, I'm not gonna win, I ain't gonna write no speach. So
do you look back now and think, why didn't I write a speech?
Yes. And the reason why I didn't is because there were some people that I forgot to mention. I didn't mention Chad Beglin, our great book writer, and I didn't mention.
They understand.
I know that, but trust me, I every time I have an interview or anything, I try to say the brother's name, so he can never. So I don't ever have to forget that he doesn't forget that I know I forgot you, but I'm gonna mention you. There were people I wish I could have thanked, and but it was a very surreal moment.
Oh, yeah.
Because I looked over that audience and I realized I'm in Radio City Music Hall and I'm holding a Tony. This is crazy.
And you're in front, I'm getting chills again, you're in front of your peers. People who are like theater royalty, and they're looking at you and saying, this is your moment.
Yeah, and you look out in the audience and there's Audra McDonald, and there's Norm Lewis, and there's my boy Josh Henry, and you're looking out there and you're like, these people, they run Broadway in the nicest way possible. You look out there and there's Chuck Cooper and there's you're like oh my God, and the Bryan Cranston, and you're like, these people are there, and it was nuts.
And you're on the stage in front of the microphone.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy, and it was one of the, besides getting married, the best experience I've ever had.
Wow, I was just bursting.
Thank you, man.
Bursting.
I will say the one time that I was nervous, but not nervous because we were all a big family, was when we all performed on the Tonys.
Oof.
And I have to give Sergio credit. I have to give Sergio Trujillo credit. He choreographed that within an inch of its life.
It's true.
There was no room for error.
There wasn't. No.
I mean, he even had the camera angles down so that when I went back and looked at it, I was like, damn, that performance was pretty nice.
Yeah, smart man.
But it felt so good to be able to jump on stage with us, together, because we had gone through such a long journey to get there.
Yes.
I mean, remember when they told us in 2004, we're going to Broadway, and they didn't have it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's just one of the, when you work on a show for so long and then you come in and you're kind of the underdog a little bit, and people are starting to take notice a little bit here and there. And it's all the work you've done, and then they call your name. I remember that was when they used to do the split screen of all the shows.
All four of us are standing like American Idol.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh wow, what an experience.
I have to ask you this: you do a couple of different accents in "Come From Away." How long did that take you to get? Did you have to be immerse yourself in the culture while you were there?
I guess I immersed myself now because my girlfriend is like, she was here a couple of days ago, and she's like, honey, you sound Canadian.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to put that on my card. Is that all right?
She's like, what?
Yeah, exactly. It took 2 years to learn that accent because the Newfoundland accent is difficult to learn. It's kind of like Midwest meets Irish meets with a pinch of pirate meets but there are different sounds for each town.
Yeah. So wait, really?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay.
There are different sound changes for a lot of the different regions in Newfoundland. So it's not just one accent. So we decided on a certain accent. And my one of the roles I play, Garth, the school bus driver, he's got kind of a thicker accent. Out to the Salvation Army camp, you know. So those accents, thanks to Joe Goldie's, our dialect coach, those were difficult. But at least we had 4 separate cities to try them out.
Yeah.
And finally, one of the biggest compliments we get is when we leave the theater and there are Newfoundlanders who've seen the show and they're like, "The accent was perfect." like, thank you. Come here.
What's funny? I had 2. This has happened 3 days in a row. People from France have walked up to me, and they said, "Well, do you really speak French?" And I was like, "No, I just do the accent as Lafayette." And I was like, "But I must be doing pretty good for them to, want to talk to me." Because they were like so excited to want to begin to speak, and I was like, "I don't." And I was like, "Maybe I should learn," because they tell me I have it down. I have a question for you, and I've always wanted to ask you this. When Chad Kimball was going to college, and was dreaming about Broadway, does the dream equal the reality? Or is the reality better than the dream?
Ooh, the dream. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Does the dream equal reality?
Does the dream equal reality, or does reality outweigh the dream? Is reality better than the dream?
I think reality outweighs the dream.
I was going to say the same thing.
with all the pitfalls of life.
Yes, I'm
included. And I think what makes the reality so much better than the dream is the struggle.
Yes.
For me, anyway, and overcoming the obstacles. But I mean, I grew up in a family where the sky was the limit, and my parents didn't really put any. You didn't say you were going to go do this, you're going to go do this. They just wanted us to follow our hearts. So I never really had I think a lot of people do have parents or family structures where there's a certain way that they have to go, and I didn't have that, thank goodness. And so I think that I was able to dream and dream big. But even with that, the reality outweighs the dream.
I'll give you this. I'll say the same thing. My parents were very open, and my father was that guy. If you can dream it, you could be it. He was that guy. But I think all of my dreams never had a struggle. It was always like, I'm gonna get my degree as a musical theater person. I'm gonna go to New York. Bam, Broadway. It's gonna be like this.
Right.
And
we're invincible.
Right, completely. And when you get here, and everybody is so doggone talented, and everybody is so good at what they do, and you realize that one day you're listening to a person on a CD or on your iPod, and the next thing you know, you're auditioning with that person in the room, and you already look at them like a hero, and you're like, wait, I have to go against you?
Right.
Well, there's no way I'm going to get this.
Exactly.
I listened to you, but then when you begin to do more things, and they look at you and go, hey, I heard about you. I heard about your work. You're good. I was like, yeah, okay. Reality outweighs even what I dreamed about when I was in college.
And you cherish the struggle. You cherish those moments, even when they're hard in the moment.
Yeah, because you
makes it sweeter.
That struggle makes you the person you are today. Yeah. And it's hard to say that because for me, I know me personally, it's hard for me to look at my struggles. I kind of want to go, okay, I got through them. That's great. I don't want to look back. And Dawn, my wife, always looks at me and she says, no. Without that, you wouldn't be who you are now. So don't dismiss that.
Yes.
Because that made you, who you are. I remember during Tony season of the Genie, I had bronchitis, sinusitis, and laryngitis at the same time. And as you know, you can't miss shows because the Tony voters are there.
Yeah.
So you have to go out and perform, and you want to impress the Tony voters because, deep in your ego, you really want that nomination.
Yes.
But there's also other people who paid their hard-earned money to come see the show, and they just want to see a good show.
Yeah.
And I was petrified one night. I literally almost had a panic attack. I was tripping out. And my wife says, just go out there and perform. It's one night. Do it.
Sometimes the simple answer is...
Yeah, so I go out there and in my head I am croaking and doing bad notes, and this is in my head, and I come off stage and someone goes, you are wonderful. I'm like, oh, you took me back to my childhood. I'm like, didn't you hear that? Didn't you hear any of those notes? They were terrible.
Well, we're our worst critic.
Right, and it was from that I learned, I was like, okay, if I could get through this, So now when I have a cold, they're like, "Are you going to go to the doctor?" Yeah, I saw the ENT, but I got 8 shows. I'll be fine.
Yes.
I'll rest on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
so I do feel you.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you, man. I told you this when I saw you come from away, and I'm gonna tell you again, just because I want it on camera for posterity. You know I love you, and we've grown up here, which is crazy, to grow up in front of people, and to see you go from the hotshot guy, who everybody was like, "Oh, this is a new kid," to stepping on stage and being one of the folks that folks look to Chad as like one of the greats is awesome. And also to be able to look up and see my friend do what he does well is awesome too.
Thank you.
Because to me, dude, you are slamming. Every time you step on the boards, it kills me. So I saw you, and I was taken back to 2004. I was taken to 2010 we won. I was taken to that heartbreaking moment when you left our show and went on to other things, and then to see you come back and do it this well as always, it just my heart burst for you, man. Because I was like, yeah, Chad is the man. And as I've always said, and Derek and I and Jay have said this.
The three.
Yes, the three of us. We're still boys. It's that when Chad Kimball is on his game, he is unstoppable. And dude, you are unstoppable. That's all I got to say about
Thanks,
you.
man. Thank you.
It's true.
Memphis was hard, and there were some hard times, and I left pretty hurt and winged, and had a little moment to regroup. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that very much. And listen. The history and the work that we put in together, there's some memories that you make that you look back on, and it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
I'll definitely give you that.
And I love you.
I love you too, baby. We do what we do, man. By the way, man, congratulations. And I know I'm going to get shot for saying this on camera, but I'm rooting for your show.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'll be watching at home, kicking it, eating wings and pizza, watching, saying, "Come from away!" Watch, it's totally going to happen.
I want to say congratulations to you. You've stepped into the show of the century already. It is the show of the century. Yeah. And you're doing your own thing in it, and congratulations.
Thank you. It was scary, I won't lie.
Yeah.
But it was a step that I needed to take professionally for myself. And I'm glad that folks are appreciating it and enjoying it
the level of
they
excitement in the industry, you're doing this and how many people want to see it, it just is a testament to your work and to what you do and what you've got inside.
And someday, I have a feeling you and I will share the stage again.
Let's do it.
We will act a fool as always.
It's always about acting. You know what?
It's always about acting a fool.
You could do as much theater, be as serious as you want, and win and get nominated and all that. But at the end of the day, it's just like being in a playground and trying to figure it out and humbling yourself. And
we get to play for a living. I don't think people really understand that. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But we get to play. We did all that work so we could play for a living. It's hard work, don't let me lie, where's the camera? It's hard work what we do, but we get to play for a living, and it's awesome. And I can't wait to get on stage and play with you, but congratulations to your thing this season.
Congratulations to you as well.
Talk to you soon.